Hello, welcome to Threads FlossTube number 98. Thank you so much for joining me today. A lot of people sometimes wonder what they can give the stitchy people as gifts in their life for Christmas, as that's coming up for many people, or just for birthdays, or just a gift to say how much they love them. The person that you might want to give that gift to is yourself. So I thought today I'd go through, show you a few gift ideas that I have that you could purchase from my website, or in the case of my books, from your local needlework store or bookstore. So I'll start off with my books. Now I've got a whole lot of things here, so there's going to be a bit of stuff that moves around as I show you. So first of all, the first book I have to show you is Mount Melick Embroidery. So this is one of my first books. It was written with my twin sister Prue. This is a style of freestyle embroidery, so it's not counted. It's worked on the surface of the fabric with a particular thread, Mount Melick thread, which I do stock. I stock the fabric as well, I stock the needles, and then there's the book. So the book's got step-by-step instructions in it and lots of projects. So that's Mount Melick Embroidery. Then the next one in the pile is Portuguese whitework. This is a style of both counted and non-counted embroidery. So all of the work to make the holes here is counted, and then all of the embroidery sitting on the leftover pieces, the leftover areas of fabric, is non-counted. So it's a really good crossover for if you like a bit of counted work and you also like some freestyle surface embroidery. This has many bullions in it. If you're not real confident with your bullions, I do have videos showing how to do bullions, but this is a great technique if you want to improve your bullions, because there are so many, you will get really good at them. So that's Portuguese whitework. Then this is the first book that I ever wrote, Elegant Hardanger Embroidery, and it is a great book still. A lot of people really love this book. It's got step-by-step instructions in it, and also quite a few projects at the end as well. So that is a great book if you're wanting to start out with Hardanger embroidery. The next book I have here is Sardinian Knotted Embroidery. This is a really unusual technique. It's probably unlike anything you've ever tried before, and this comes from the town of Teulada in Sardinia, and the way the patterns are created are by hundreds and thousands of tiny little knots worked on the surface of the fabric. So that's a really unusual one for if you want to try something new. This is worked on 28 count linen with pearl cotton number 12. I stock all of these things, and that's a great one to try. It's a counted embroidery. The next one I have to show you is Smoig pattern darning from Norway. This is probably the most simple technique that I have written a book on, because it's basically just running stitch. It is counted running stitch, and if you love colour, there is so much colour in this style of embroidery. So this comes from Norway, this style of embroidery, and there's heaps in the front of the book, which is historical information, then there's lots of projects, and then there's also step-by-step instructions. So there's everything there. I have supplies packs for the projects in this book, so if you're wanting to get started with a project and the book, that's a great way to go. This is Elegant, no it's not, it's Early Style Hardanger. This is the second Hardanger book that I wrote, and it was a book that I had been thinking of writing for many years when I actually did write it. I felt that there needed to be a book that took everyone back to the traditional style of Hardanger, so that's what this book does. It's also got lots of in the front historical information, then there's quite a few projects, and then there's lots and lots of step-by-step instructions. All of my later books have both left and right-handed instructions. I'm left-handed, and I realised that that was a gap in the market, that people needed left-handed instructions. So all of my later books do have that. Then moving on, this was the first real left-handed book that I wrote, The Left-Handed Embroiderer's Companion. It is a stitch dictionary with over 170 different stitches in it, and they are all diagrammed and written out in a step-by-step manner, and so there is so much to learn in there. Once I had finished writing that book and released it, all the right-handed people said to me, where's the right-handed one? I said, you don't need a right-handed one. All Stitch dictionaries are right-handed. They said, yes, but we want yours. So that's where this came about. So it's the same book, just for right-handers. People say, how can you write a right-handed book if you're left-handed? Well, I teach right-handers all the time, and I'm used to doing that. So I certainly can write a right-handed book. These two books are possibly the best option if you have, say, a young niece or nephew who would like to get into stitching, or a son or a daughter, or just a friend who is interested in embroidery. These are a great place to start because there's heaps of different stitches in there, and there are photographs which show different ways the stitches can be used as examples, so that if you haven't got any ideas of what to do with them, you can give them a go and then play around with them using my little photographs as inspiration for what you could do. So that's two Stitch dictionaries. Now the next book here is Ukrainian drawn thread embroidery. This is a really different style of drawn thread embroidery which comes from Ukraine. Mereshka Poltavska means drawn thread work from Poltava, so it's from from Poltava in Ukraine. Mereshka is a term that refers to drawn thread work across Ukraine, Lithuania, Russia, places like that. So it's a term that is it goes across all of those different language groups and countries. So this is a different style. It works. It was worked across the tops of sleeves, around the bottom of hems, I think it was on the collars as well, on their traditional clothing. So that's a really interesting style of work. There is some historical information, there's step-by-step instructions, and then there are also projects in the back that you can make. And then the most recent book, my 10th book, and I still can't believe that I've written 10 books, is Frisian white work, and this is Dutch embroidery. Frisian white work is not always worked in white, as you can see by this large slab of colour across here and the little bits up the top here. So there again is heaps of historical information in the front with lots of examples, and then there are projects, and then heaps and heaps of step-by-step instructions. Just the sort of things you always get from my books. So if you're wanting to work any of the projects from either Smoig or Frisian Whitework, I do have supplies packs which have the supplies in them that you will need to make the projects, so that you don't have to go and look for all of the things yourself or collect them all together for you. They don't have the instruction in them because the idea is that you buy the book, and that's where the instructions are. So it's not being annoying that I'm making you buy the book. It's actually the book is the main thing that I sell, and the supplies packs are just to make it easier for you. So then what else do we have? Okay, so if you're wanting just a small project that's got all the instructions and the supplies in it, something like this might work for you. So this is a Mount Mellick embroidery tin kit, and it is to make up one of these little tins. So, oh, there's things inside there, who knew? So it comes with the fabric and the thread to do the embroidery on top. It's got the binding that goes around the edge here. There's the tin in there. There's the padding that goes underneath this part. So it's got everything in there that you need, including your instructions. So there's the Mount Mellick one. There's also a small Hardanger one, which teaches you the basics of Hardanger. So of course they all have step-by-step instructions in them. And then there's a small Sardinian embroidery one. Now the bindings that come on the side of these are just randomly put in. So you might choose this tin and it might not have that colour there. It might have this one instead, or a different one. It's just potluck what you get. So hopefully you'll like what you're given. Then if you need a small gift for yourself or for a friend, a good pair of embroidery scissors is always a valuable thing to have. So these are the ones that I stock at the moment. I did used to stock Dovo. They are not made anymore. These are fabulous scissors. They're at a reasonable price, and they have beautifully sharp blades and also very nice and pointy. So if you need to get in between your threads, they are a great pair of scissors for that. The next thing I'm going to show you are these Sewline fabric pencils. So the way these work is that they are not a normal graphite lead pencil. They are made of ceramic, the lead. And they go onto the fabric and they can wash off. There is also an eraser at the top end here that you can use to rub out. Now it will only work on some fabrics that will work out well, rub out well, but it's certainly there as an option, but otherwise they wash out. Now they come in, I've got them in the black or grey lead here. I've also got them in white lead, which I find is really useful if you're dressmaking. I use it as a tailor's chalk, and they're great for that. And I also do have the replacement leads. So if you bought, say, a grey lead pencil, you could also buy some white leads to go with it, and you can replace them as you need to and change it over. So you only need one pencil, but you could have both coloured leads. Then, if you are the sort of person that does a lot of embroidery with multiple strands at once and you want to have them sitting beautifully flat, something like this, which is a laying tool, will really, really help improve your embroidery and make it just look so gorgeous, because the threads can lie flat on the surface. I think I've done... pretty sure I've done a video on how to use a laying tool, so look that one up. I can put a link to it down below as well. So that's that fabulous laying tool. Now, for someone who loves to be creative, I have these little pendant tray kits, and what they have in them is that they've got the pendant themselves with adhesive. That's the orange covered stuff there, so you take off the orange and then there's the adhesive underneath. They've got it really is under there, there's a little circle of cardboard that you would mount your embroidery onto, and there is the chain to hold it on, go around your neck. There's instructions on the back of how to put it all together, so that all of them, there's different shapes and sizes. So there's a little square one, there's a bigger square one, there's a bigger round, and there's rectangular as well. So there's all of them, and I have used many of them in my time to make things like this, and they make beautiful little embroideries to wear all the time, so you can show off your embroidery. Okay, so also in the same vein, there is this pendant supplies pack. Well, it's a pattern, but it also, it's not in there. I mean, it is in there, but you can't see it. It comes with the pendant in there as well, so that you don't have to buy them separately. It doesn't come with a thread or fabric. My expectation is that you would use something out of your stash for that. The fabric that I used for this was a number 32 count linen with a gumnut yarn silk, and it's worked over one, so if you're up for a challenge, it's cross stitch over one. But it's it's beautiful, and I love wearing mine. Okay, if you are wanting a hoop to just start off with, this is a beautiful hoop. It's a 12mm deep hoop, and it's really rigid, so it's not going to bend and flex. You can undo it, slip your embroidery between. Now I would actually bind the inner ring. You can find videos on the internet on how to do that. I think Mary Corbett's got a great one. There is a slot for your screwdriver here, so you can tighten it really tight. And I like using little hoops where possible, because it means that I can reach around the side and get to my embroidery with my finger and thumb really easily. So that is a 5-inch hoop, and they're really great. Now, also in the line of hoops, I have these ones which come on a stand, and this is a 7-inch hoop. This is the size that I have, that I use, and they have a base that you buy separately, and the base, there's the hole there, the dowel fits in there, and it means that you can sit it on your seat and then stitch hands-free. It comes with a range of different size hoops. There is 6-inch hoops, 7-inch hoop, 8-inch hoops, 10-inch hoops, 11 and 12. I don't know why they don't do 9. They skipped 9. Strange. So there's a good range of different hoops, and you can use the one base with many different hoops. So if you buy your hoop on my website, you have to also buy the base separately. They don't come together, but because that is because someone might already have the base and just want the hoop, like a different size to go in their existing hoop. So there's them. Then I think I'm getting to the end of what I've pulled out here. I've got a range of patterns. So these are to make, sorry, I'll try and get it actually in the screen. That would help, wouldn't it? These ones are to make Christmas decorations, or they don't have to be Christmas decorations. They can just be little decorations that you use for whatever. Then there's a bookmark, and that's a step-by-step hardanger instructions. They've all got step-by-step instructions in them, but this one was specifically designed to teach hardanger for someone who's never learned it before. These are just patterns only. They don't have the supplies in them. The idea is that you would use what you have. And if you don't have, then I can certainly direct you to where you can get the things for them. Then if you've got a friend, or if you yourself just want to have a play, then I've got simple things just like cotton abroader here. So I've got that in a range of different sizes. That is a beautiful soft white thread that you can use for working white work. I use it for monogramming. It can also be used for the Ukrainian drawn thread embroidery that I showed you earlier. So that's a really good budget option. If you just want to buy a stocking filler to go in someone's gift, then something like that's a great idea. I've also got various colors and sizes of pearl cotton. So this is a number 12 in white, this is a number 8 in white. And I've got various, just a few different colors in the 8, which are the ones that are used for Portuguese white work. So there's them as options as well. Then I've got a good range of very reasonably priced but good quality needles. These are the DMC needles. I do also have some other brands as well. There's some Richard Hemming needles as well. And these are great needles if you need a stocking filler, something like that. I've got tapestry needles, there's chenille needles, there are other ones as well. So there's a whole heap on my website. So that just gives you, I think that's everything that I've showed you that I pulled out. Yes, that just gives you an idea of some more expensive gifts, such as the hoop with a stand, then mid-priced ones, such as my books, and some of the kits that I have. And I've got a whole heap of other kits as well. So there's Mount Mellick kits, which have your step-by-step instructions and your fabric and your thread and your needles and everything in them that you need, except for the cushion insert. For the ones with the cushions, there's no zip, there's no cushion insert, and all that sort of thing. So it's got all the things you need to make the embroidery, and you can team that up with a hoop, say. And then there's all the littler things that you can just use as stocking stuffers, or if you just want to give a small gift to someone, which is just as equally a lovely thing to do, then I've got small things as well. So if you have any questions about any of these products or any of the other products that you find on my website, please just ask. I'm only too happy to help. In terms of posting, we are still within the cutoff, apparently, for Christmas to post within Australia. I think you might be pushing it for some other countries, but certainly if you don't mind waiting, and if it's not actually for a Christmas gift, then certainly go ahead and order. So yeah, I hope that helps you out with some ideas, and if you've got any questions, please just ask. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.